due to the decoration. So this sensing technology might not be able to view this component, so it cannot be modeled. Besides, the creative 3D model makes semantic information. And the second method is beam modeling from 2D documentation, like the design drawings, floor plans. And this 2D documentation contains abundant geometric and semantic information, like the component geometry and material information. So if we can extract the information from the 3D drawings, so we can easily generate a semantically rich beam. However, the problem is manually modeling is error-prone and challenging. Therefore, automating the beam modeling from 2D documentation has been a growing research trend. This paper aims to fully understand the contribution and limitation of current beam modeling from 2D documentation through a systematic literature review, and we identified the relevant paper from the scopes, and we included both the journal article and conference paper. And the initial searching result is 456 papers. And then we conducted the literature screening based on the title and abstract, and the filtering criteria is that articles aimed to construct a 3D model from 2D drawings were included, and articles that only mentioned the creating 3D model but not focused on it were excluded. And other publications, such as those focused on converting the building design process, like from the CAD-based design to the beam-based design, were all excluded. And in addition to the filtering, we also adopted the snowballing technique to find additional papers. So finally, we got a total review data set of 55 papers. Here is the canonical distribution of all the included papers, and we divided into two groups. The first one is the geometrical model, which include articles aimed to construct 3D geometry, such as indoor or surface model. And the second one is the semantic beam, which refers to articles aimed to create a beam with semantic information. And the most articles only focused on generating a geometrical model, and the semantic beam modeling from 2D drawings first appeared in 2015, and a dramatically increasing trend can be observed. And especially during the last year, 11 papers was focused on the semantic beam modeling, and only 2 papers was focused on geometrical modeling. Then we summarized the methods for the geometrical modeling, and we identified 3 themes. The first one is the drawing analysis. It's like extracting the component information from the 2D drawings. There are 3 methods. The first one is based on the layer information. Like for the CAD drawings, the geometry of different components is normally stored in different layers. So we can extract the component information based on the layer information, but this method is not applicable for other drawings like the hand drafting. The second method is based on the geometric features, like to identify building components based on the geometric features and symbols, but irregular components cannot be detected. And the last method is based on artificial intelligence to identify building components, and it is suitable for all types of drawings and components. The second thing is generating the 3D building model. And the first method is extrusion of 2D drawings. It's like to extrude the labeled floor plan to generate the 3D model, but the height information, like the floor elevation and the height of openings, is either set as default or entered manually. And the second method is modeling from 3 orthogonal views, like to create a 3D model for each component based on the 3 orthogonal views, and then combine this component model to get a 3D building model. However, it is difficult to extract the 3 orthogonal views for all the components from the 2D drawings. And the third method is combine floor and elevation drawings. It's like detecting building components from the floor drawings and then extract height information from the elevation drawings, but the internal components have not been considered. The last thing is integrating different floors. And the first method is based on the floor plan matching. It's like we first align all the floor plans before we create a 3D model. And the second method is 3D feature-based matching. It's like we first create a 3D model for each floor, and then we match this 3D model based on the geometric features like pipes, staircases, corners, and bearing walls. As for semantic modeling, most articles only consider the room identity. Only consider the room identity and component category, these are very basic semantic information. And only several articles extracted the semantic information like the element cross-section and the material property, and then store with this semantic information in an additional file and also attach it to the 3D model. And after we created a 3D model, another thing is that we need to check its quality and accuracy. So the last aspect is about the model quality checking. Basically, there are three methods. The first one is checking the drawing quality before the 3D modeling. Like there are definitely some errors in the 2D drawings. So we could detect these errors and then correct it to create a more accurate 3D model. And the second one is comparing with ground truth, like comparing the created 3D model with the reference model. However, the reference model are normally unavailable. And the last method is evaluating consistency and conflicts according to basic rules. It's like the compliance checking between the created 3D model and the basic rules. Like if a wall should contain 6 faces, so if one face is missing, so it can be automatically detected and corrected. And finally, this research discussed the challenges and future research directions toward the BIM modeling from 2D documentations. For the geometrical modeling, only floor plans are used for most studies, and height information is either set as default or entered manually. So future research needs to integrate various drawings to extract the height information of all building components. And for now, only common building components like the wall, the column are modeled, and the complex components such as staircases are ignored in current research. So future research needs to further study the automatic modeling of these complex components. And as for the semantic modeling, most research only included basic semantic information such as room identity and component category. So future research needs to integrate all the information extracted from various drawings and explore the modeling of a semantically rich BIM. And as for the data quality checking, and existing research only focuses on detecting and correcting specific type of errors in the 2D drawing. However, there are a lot of errors in the 2D drawing, so future research needs to investigate the all possible errors and their corresponding influence in the 3D modeling process. And the evaluation of model accuracy quality is the key result. So future research needs to analyze building compliance rules and develop fully automated compliance checking method to evaluate the created 3D model. Yeah, that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. So, okay, now we call the time, so that's why. So, are there any questions? I'm looking at the chatting the window. So, if you have any question, I will give question to Mr. Cheng. If you don't, I will give you one question to you, Mr. Zhang. So, yeah. According to your paper, you mentioned about the city information model. So I just wonder, so how your analysis of this research related to the city information models. Would you explain about that?
Yeah, our idea is that if we want to create a city information model, so we first need to create a model for each building in the city area. So we need to create a BIM, yeah, for every single building. Yeah, so this is the relationship between our research and the city information model, I think.
Okay, so second one, I have a question. Yeah. So if you want to generate the BIM model from the 2D document, so actually the 2D document should be very correct and exact. So if something wrong, one of the 2D documents, if you want to combine, so how could, in this articles, how did they solve the problem, those kind of things?
Actually, for now, I mentioned it in the model quality checking. It's like we are going to correct the 2D drawings before create this 3D model. So yeah, basically they are doing it manually. So if we can do it automatically, it will be better. Yeah, to check the errors. Yeah, I think.
Okay, and then can you look at the chatting windows? So there is one question is, bumping up?
Yes, Professor Cohn. There is our dear colleague Emma, Chris. She just wrote a question. I am curious at which levels of the project are you planning to implement automation through artificial intelligence, computer vision, and which of these are viable, efficient, please?
Yeah, actually for now, I found a few companies is trying to do this kind of a software to fully automatically generate this 3D model from the 3D drawings. And they are using the AI, yeah. And I think for now, the problem is that they can only detect some specific type of component or specific type of information. So it's, if we want to fully automate this process, I think we need to to maybe label a data set with all type of information. I mean, this is too challenging for now. Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you, Mr.